Using the echelon method, I'm going to solve this problem. And the first thing I want to do, I want to get rid of our fractions we have. So I'm going to, for the top part, so I have x over 2 plus y equals negative 7 over 2. And then I have the second equation for this system is x over 5 plus y equals negative 28 over 5. And I want to get rid of the fraction, so I'm going to multiply the top by 2 and then the second equation by 5. And what that's going to do, that's going to cancel out the denominators in both equations. And so what is that going to leave me with? When we do that, I'm going to be left with x plus 2y equals negative 7, and then x plus 5y equals negative 28. Now, using the echelon method, what I want to do, I want to make this first x go to 0. I want to get rid of it, so I want to cancel it out. Well, how can I do that? Well, I can do that by multiplying row 1 by negative 1 and adding it to row 2, and that will give me my new row 2. So I'm going to multiply the first row by negative 1 and then add it to the second row, and that will give me my new row 2. So my first row will stay the same, and we'll have a different row 2. So my first row, which we want it to be 1x, which it is, so it's fine the way it sits. But then when I take negative 1 times row 1 and add it to row 2, my new row 2 becomes 0. And then negative 1 times 2 is negative 2, and negative 2 plus 5 is going to be a plus 3y. And then negative 1 times negative 7 is 7, and then add it to a negative 28 is going to be a negative 21. And so what do we get here? I have x plus 2y equals negative 7, and then my new row 2 is 3y equals negative 21. And then at this point, again, if we're doing the row echelon or the echelon method, then I want this to become 1. Well, how can that become 1? Well, I can multiply, that's my row 2, so what I'm going to do is multiply row 2 by 1/3, and that will give me my new row 2. Okay, so what happens when I multiply my row 2 by 1/3, and that's going to give me y equals negative 7. So that would be my new row 2. So let's see, what are we looking at here as far as what are we going to have? All right, so at this point, I have x plus 2y equals negative 7. So that's my row 1. And then my new row 2 is y equals negative 7. And now we have it in row echelon form. And I can back substitute my y, and I will end up having x minus 14 equals negative 7, and then x equals 7. So my answer is 7, negative 7, using the echelon method.
Let's look at the same problem using a calculator. So I'm going to put this in as a matrix, or as an augmented matrix. And it would be a 2 by 3. And I have 1/2, then 1, negative 7 over 2. Oh, I didn't get my 7 in there for some reason. Negative 7 over 2. And then I have 1 over 5, 1, and negative 28 divided by 5. So there's my matrix. We're going to second quit, go back to matrix, scroll to math, and we're going to go to RREF, and that's going to be reduced row echelon form. Enter, go back to matrix, and it was our A matrix that we put in, and there you can see we get our answer. X is 7 and Y, so my X, there's my X's, there's my Y is -7 and X is 7. So that's a quicker way to do it using your calculator.